As MBA Power Management student, today I'll be talking about two job roles. Uh, First one is the Renewable Energy Project Manager role. Is a high impact position, especially given the current push for grid modernization and decarbonization. The core project responsibilities for this post, primarily, first one is the site acquisition and the permitting, which primarily is of the land use permits and the environmental impact assessments, grid interconnection studies. Secondly, is the procurement strategy, as the sector has like global supply chain for the components of solar PV modules, inverters, and the battery cells, which often involve the international logistics. Thirdly, is the quality assurance and the quality checks, by which we ensure the EPC, the engineering, procurement, construction partners strictly do adhere to the technical standards and the safety standards. Fourthly is the grid integration, where in which we will be working closely with the state or the central utilities to ensure that the project meets out technical grid codes and for the commissioning of the project. Other than this, the advanced competencies for this post would include the LCOE analysis, which is the levelized cost of energy, to determine the project's competitiveness. Secondly, would be the regulatory awareness on the project, which would primarily be well awareness in terms of the green open access rules, the carbon credit markets, or some specific state subsidies relating to this. Um, Thirdly, would be the risk mitigation, by which sensitivity analysis can be done to see how the fluctuations in the interest rates or the module prices are impacting the project's financial viability or viability of the project itself. Other than this, the technical skills that would be required for the project would be firstly the design tools in terms of familiarity with the PV Syst, which is to assess the solar yield for a particular site, or even the Homer Pro, which is used as another tool for the project. Secondly, the asset management, in which the softwares like SCADA system or the IoT platforms for real-time performance tracking post-commissioning can be used for asset management. Thirdly, collaboration. Collaboration in terms of high proficiency ERP systems, in which primarily presently the SAP or Oracle is being used for budget tracking or even for vendor payments. Other than this, the rule includes that the person should be well aware with the consulting firms uh, roles of these firms, such as Black and Veatch. It could be EY or other consulting firms. Secondly, the independent power producers companies, as there's so many companies relating to the IPPs. And other than this, the public sector, the policies, the person should be well aware with them. Secondly, so the second post that I have selected is that of the investment analyst. Unlike the project manager, in which the person has to focus on building the asset, investment analysis more on focuses on how the asset should be built and how to pay for this asset. So certain technical pillars for this particular role include the project finance. The person should be well aware with project finance and the structuring deals where the debt is to be repaid solely from the project's cash flows rather than the parent company's balance sheet. The equity and the incentives are to be known by the person, analyzing the impact of the production tax credits, some accelerated depreciation relating to the asset, or the specific subsidies, such as the viability gap funding in the Indian context. Then the person should be well aware with sensitivity and the scenario analysis, in which the modeling, the what if scenarios are to be assessed by the person, by regarding the grid curtailment and also the fluctuating merchant power prices against the fixed PPA rates and the interest rate hikes. Thirdly, the person should be well equipped with the due diligence relating to the technical, legal, and the environmental audits to ensure the bankability of the projects. Other than this, these are the technical skills. Other than this, the person should be pretty much comfortable with the Excel, in a competitive environment, basically in an infrastructure fund or in an investment bank. These skills are often seen as a differentiating uh, aspect. They have a differentiating side to it, such as the LBO modeling, understanding how to use the leverage to boost returns on equity on infrastructure assets. The person should be well aware with VBA macros and Python. Also, regarding the regulatory bodies, regulatory arbitrage to assess how the open access charges and the cross subsidy surcharge, uh, along with this one nation, one grid, one frequency policies, how they impact the project's bottom line, how do they affect the project's functioning, the viability of the project. uh, Other than this, ESG integration is a critical role here that plays a critical role in evaluating the project's environmental, social, and the governance metrics, which is now mandatory for almost all the global institution investors. So, comparing these two roles that I've selected, the project manager is more concerned with the physical delivery side as compared to the analyst, the financial analyst, in which the path move towards the capital strategy side. The investment analyst would build models, doing his work on the due diligence on the project. Uh, Other than this, the managing of the deal or negotiating with the lenders, the vice president finance is so the analyst can eventually become the vice president of the finance, owning the capital structure and the managing relationships with equity partnerships, and eventually move up the ladder to CFO one day, I think, leading the overall investment strategy for multi-billion dollar portfolio, I would say. That would be an interesting, I think, interesting post that I've selected these two particular job roles for the assignment. So thank you for your attention.